A disaster in Ohio.
Facing grave danger.
I am scared. I don't scare easily, but I am scared.
And a warning for the country.
You have a lot of stuff going down the track without any idea whether it's defective or not.
Spotlight on America investigates railroad safety inspection cuts and why many believe another East Palestine-like catastrophe could be around the bend if industry standards are not raised. Devastating storms across the U.S. and homeowners getting victimized twice.
Why did you want to come forward and talk to us?
Because it's not right.
Insurance industry whistleblowers pull back the curtain on an emerging problem they say is becoming all too common. Violent crimes posing significant problems for prosecutors.
Ghost guns kill people.
When was the first time you ever heard the words ghost gun?
Oh, when my son got shot.
The continued challenge of ghost guns and how manufacturers are staying one step ahead of the law. Plus,
we have this system that's set up that's supposed to protect children and their families, and it's failing.
Nationwide recalls are supposed to get dangerous and defective products out of circulation. But Spotlight on America discovered too often they're being resold on the internet with sometimes deadly consequences.
Good girl.
Then the cutest front line of defense in America.
That's a full-fledged canine officer.
That's correct.
The advantage Beagles bring in sniffing out serious threats at customs.
Got it from duty free at the airport. Yeah, it's not permitted.
Hello and welcome to this special Spotlight on America. I'm National Investigative Correspondent Angie Moreski. We begin with trouble on the tracks. This train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, back in February, exposed serious deficiencies in the country's safety review process for trains, especially those carrying hazardous materials. Experts warn the next catastrophe is just a matter of time. Spotlight on America correspondent Dwayne Pullman discovered why there is so much concern. Over the past decade, we've seen major cuts in inspection time that's supposed to detect potential problems.
Railroad unions say precision scheduled railroading, or PSR, is now driving efficiency and profits at America's major railroad companies.
Getting freight moving at all costs.
David Aroka is the National Legislative Director for the union representing carmen, who perform inspections on the nation's rail cars. After the devastating derailment in East Palestine, the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, determined a superheated wheel bearing on one of the rail cars was the probable cause.
Were you surprised then to see what happened in East Palestine?
Oh, absolutely not.
Aroka says PSR has led to big cuts in the number of inspectors and mechanics and inspection times. From 3 minutes per rail car less than a decade ago to just 1 minute per rail car today.
Is it enough to do a 1 minute inspection?
No.
To demonstrate the difference, Aroka showed us some videos.
Hi, I'm Patrick Clear.
Patrick is a union inspector and instructor at a training center in Missouri. In 60 seconds, he can only eye potential problems in a quick walk around. He did find a few.
Oh, we got a missing shoe here.
Next, Patrick does a full inspection of the same rail car.
Oh, we do have a crack right here.
It looks and sounds very different. This time, Patrick turns to tools and a tape measure, checking 180 items, including a thorough examination of the bearings, brakes, and wheel assemblies. Patrick identifies 5 serious safety issues that would have pulled this car from service.
I'm going to go ahead and fill out the bad order card.
But taking rail cars out of service prevents them from rolling down the rails. And Aroka says that's not a priority for precision scheduled railroading.
And the end result is what?
You have a lot of stuff going down the track without any idea whether it's defective or not.
The Association of American Railroads, or AAR, which represents the railroad companies, doesn't dispute the push for 1-minute inspections, but says there are certain equipment defects that are impossible to detect visually when a train is not in motion, which is why it says the railroads are now using a layered approach, combining both visual and widely deployed technology. Among those new widely deployed high-tech tools, detectors to check wheels and bearings as the trains roll by. AAR says that new technology has reduced accidents, but according to NTSB's preliminary report on East Palestine, a hot bearing detector transmitted a critical audible alarm message instructing the crew to slow and stop the train, but it was sent too late to prevent the derailment.
We ought to at least force them to have some common sense safety standards.
Ohio Senators J.D. Vance and Sherrod Brown are co-sponsoring the Railway Safety Act of 2023, which for the first time calls on the Transportation Secretary to create minimum time requirements that a qualified mechanical inspector must spend when inspecting a rail car or locomotive.
It'll make it safer because they'll do better in better qualified inspectors doing these inspections.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Dwayne Pullman.
To see more on this story and read the complete statement from the Association of American Railroads, as well as other key documents, just head over to our website, spotlightinvestigates.com. Now to the property insurance crisis impacting a growing number of Americans. With natural disasters increasing in intensity and frequency, more homeowners are running into delays and denials getting their insurance claims paid. It is part of a disturbing nationwide trend, and it's leaving many people desperate and frustrated. More than 6 months after Hurricane Ian, Carol Jackson and her daughter Kalindi are still living in a trailer in their backyard.
I can't believe it.
The storm hit with ferocious 150-mile-per-hour winds. Their neighborhood just south of Venice, Florida, ground zero.
The big damage is right here where the ceiling collapsed.
A blue tarp still covers the gaping hole where pink insulation came crashing down. The Cat 5 winds ripping open their roof, blowing out windows, and making their home unlivable. You can see from the outside the roof is literally cracked in half, and if you go underneath the carport, it's structurally unsound. You see the yellow caution tape, the roof is cracked, but it's being propped up by tree stumps that the mitigation company put here 12 days after the storm.
I thought it was awful and I thought it was bad, but I mean, at that point I thought, well, we have insurance, it'll be fixed.
Kalindi put in a claim with Heritage Property Insurance, their company for the last 8 years, but heard nothing for weeks.
It's tough.
So she called attorney Donna Stockham, who's handled homeowner insurance cases for nearly 2 decades, and says delays, denials, and lowball payments have become a pattern ever since Florida passed recent pro-insurance laws making it harder to sue insurance companies.
The carriers seem especially emboldened.
Why did you want to come forward and talk to us?
Because it's not right.
These insurance industry whistleblowers say they've seen questionable tactics firsthand.
They're cheating the homeowner.
Mark Vinson and Ben Mandel are independent adjusters who work for insurance companies. After Hurricane Ian, they say 2 carriers they declined to name drastically reduced several of their damage estimates before sending them to homeowners.
Legitimate claims are not getting paid.
They showed Spotlight on America this example, saying their $40,000 estimate was cut to just $2,600. So what did they change?
Well, they took the roof out.
They took the roof off.
The American Policyholder Association is a consumer watchdog group. Executive Director Doug Quinn says allegations of claim tampering extend far beyond Florida.
We've seen it all over the country. At this particular point, we have criminal cases related to this in Florida and Louisiana. We've also had reports in Texas, California, Colorado.
So none of this has been repaired?
Nothing.
As for the Jacksons, after the attorney got involved, Heritage finally agreed to cover the claim, but sent a check for just a fraction of the repair estimate. So they're now suing for more money.
My mom, she doesn't deserve this. She deserves a safe home to live in.
Thank you for calling Heritage Insurance.
Spotlight on America contacted Heritage, which sent a statement saying, "Our goal is always to pay every eligible claim," but said due to privacy concerns, they could not address specific questions about policyholders. Heritage Insurance told Spotlight on America in a statement they are working to change the software they use to better reflect who makes changes on a customer's estimate. And the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation tells us it has more than 50 investigations on Hurricane Ian claims, including allegations of altered estimates and delayed payments. Just ahead, ghost gun manufacturers staying one step ahead of the law. We show you how they're doing it. Plus,
I worry about another child being killed every day.
Deadly products still in American homes despite recalls. The shocking number that never get returned and end up resold online despite the warnings. Next. An overwhelming increase in the use of ghost guns is posing a serious danger on our streets. A federal crime report shows ghost gun use in crimes is up more than 1,000% since 2017. Spotlight on America's Lisa Fletcher examined what states are doing about it and found many are passing new laws to restrict do-it-yourself kits like this that make these weapons untraceable. But manufacturers are pushing back.
16-year-old DeAndre Thomas nearly died last year, shot at his high school in Rockville, Maryland.
He had the first 8 surgeries. Within the first 3-4 weeks he was in the hospital.
2 months of touch and go. Mom Karen not knowing if her son would lose his leg, ever walk again, or even survive.
And it's torture. It broke everybody in our family's heart.
DeAndre's injuries at the hands of a fellow student, wielding an untraceable weapon known as a ghost gun, with parts he bought online and, according to police reports, assembled with a friend.
When was the first time you ever heard the words ghost gun?
When my son got shot.
DeAndre, one of an untold number of victims of ghost guns, used with increasing frequency by criminals across the country. A Department of Justice report published earlier this year shows ghost gun use in crimes has risen more than 1,000% since 2017. In August, the Biden administration closed a loophole that allowed the kits to be sold to anybody because the parts weren't considered guns. The new rule mandates serial numbers and background checks and classifies the kits, containing most of the parts necessary to complete the gun, as a gun. But in the months following, manufacturers of these so-called buy, build, shoot kits found a workaround, many opting to simply offer parts individually rather than in kits, making the core components still easily accessible.
Lawful gun manufacturers play by a set of rules that we as Americans generally agree with. The ghost gun manufacturers do not.
We sat down with Washington, D.C.'s Attorney General Karl Racine as he was finishing his final term last year. He successfully sued the largest manufacturer of ghost guns, Polymer 80, for misrepresenting where they could sell and who could legally own their guns. And while at least 11 states and the District of Columbia have passed their own laws banning or severely restricting ghost guns, the desired effect has been elusive. Cities like Baltimore, San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, and D.C. have all seen sharp increases in crimes involving ghost guns, and experts say the weapons are likely coming in from states with little or no restriction. Precisely why Racine says states can't wait for the feds to figure this out.
Other states really have to pitch in here in order to make their communities safe. Ghost guns kill people. They make it easier for criminals to accomplish their criminal deeds, and there's no reason for them to be flooding our streets and causing the kind of havoc that we have.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
For states that have laws restricting or banning ghost guns, the penalties vary widely. Everything from a year in prison to up to 10 years in prison and hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. Experts tell us it's likely more states will pass laws banning these weapons before we see the loophole closed by the feds. An alarming number of dangerous products remain in homes and businesses despite being recalled, many times leading to additional injuries and deaths. While most of these products are removed from store shelves, resale markets online like Facebook, Craigslist, and eBay are often fertile ground to continue selling these products. Spotlight on America investigates whether product recalls are failing America. It's hard to imagine.
This is a rock and play.
A recalled product responsible for so much tragedy
That's been associated with the deaths of approximately 100 infants.
Is still so easy to buy online.
We have this system that's set up that's supposed to protect children and their families, and it's failing.
Product liability attorney Dan Mann says that system failed 4-month-old Cameron Vober, a baby boy from South Dakota who loved bath time.
Thank you.
And pulling his daddy's beard.
Every moment was special with him. At the time, I just didn't know how much.
In 2021, nearly 2 years after the rock and play was recalled, baby Cameron fell asleep in the rocker at his daycare and never woke up again.
It's been extremely hard trying to deal with my emotions myself and handling it.
Is the system that we have set up as a country to protect consumers and children failing?
On many levels, we could do more.
Alex Hohen-Sarek is chair of the CPSC, the government agency tasked with protecting consumers from dangerous products. You worry about another child being killed.
I worry about another child being killed every day.
Spotlight on America searched Facebook Marketplace. Fisher-Price Rock and Play being sold right now for $15. And found not just one, but 2 recalled rock and plays being offered for sale on separate days, and other recalled products too. A boppy pillow, original, and it says sold. Like the Boppy Pillow Lounger, more than 3 million recalled after at least 8 infant deaths. In 2017, the Consumer Product Safety Commission reported the average product return rate after a recall was just 6%, meaning 94% remain in consumer hands.
We try and reach everybody, but it doesn't always happen.
He says a CPSC team regularly searches online for recalled products and issued 55,000 takedown requests last year. Spotlight on America requested an interview with Facebook, eBay, and Craigslist. eBay and Craigslist did not respond. Facebook declined an interview, but sent a statement saying in part, "We take this issue seriously, and when we find listings that violate our rules, we remove them." Imagine time doesn't make this any easier.
No.
Yeah. The Vobers found the strength to talk about what happened to Cameron, hoping their tragedy will serve to warn others of the danger of inclined sleepers, especially with so many still out there in the community.
Oh, yeah?
After our interview, the CPSC reissued its recall of the Boppy Pillow, announcing at least 2 more infants have died since the product was recalled in 2021. The commission urged all online marketplaces to stop selling it. And just this August, members of Congress are also demanding action. A bipartisan group of lawmakers sent 17 letters to online marketplaces, including Facebook, Craigslist, and eBay, Amazon, and Walmart, requesting more be done to stop the sale of dangerous recalled products on their platforms. Still ahead, cute, cuddly, and critical to national security, the Beagle Brigade on America's front lines and how this breed got the gig, right after the break.
What's in there?
Every day, unsung heroes from the Beagle Brigade help to sniff out threats America faces from foreign food and plants carried into our country by passengers flying in from overseas. Spotlight on America's Dwayne Pullman goes behind the scenes to reveal how this unlikely breed helps to guard the U.S. from invasive foreign diseases.
Put your passport somewhere safe. Inside Terminal 5 at O'Hare International Airport, thousands of passengers from around the world arrive. Greeting them,
Good girl,
is a fast-moving beagle.
Oh, she's incredibly fast.
Named Betty.
Betty Boop. Good girl.
Specialist Jessica Anderson and Betty are a top team in a one-breed canine program run by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP.
The Beagle Brigade started back in the 80s.
Beagle Brigade.
Beagle Brigade, that's what they originally called it.
They still do. 117 beagles make up their brigade, assigned to airports across America, guarding against invasive species, pests, and pathogens, sometimes carried by passengers in foods and plants they bring with them from overseas.
How important are beagles to what we're doing to protect America?
I think they're incredibly important. Let's go. Good job.
Behind the scenes, big dogs like Cece.
What? That one?
Command the conveyor belts. But out here,
Find it?
in close proximity to people, beagles like Betty rule.
Cute, cuddly, and welcoming.
And that's the purpose, isn't it?
Definitely.
But the furry, friendly faces of beagles like Betty hide a serious mission. That's a full-fledged canine officer.
That's correct.
Right now, Betty and the brigade are focused on two serious threats to America. Avian influenza has already killed 43 million hens worldwide. That's what caused egg prices to skyrocket in January. Anything connected to chickens and other birds not cleared through customs is being confiscated, including exotic birds' nests used to make bird's nest soup, a Chinese delicacy that's full of bird saliva. The other threat, African swine fever. It's already wiped out nearly a quarter of the world's pig population. Every day, some international passengers try to bring pork products into the U.S., including sausage.
Could you get that sausage out for me, please?
Betty sniffed out several sausages when we were there, including a sausage link packed inside luggage.
Can we get that out for me?
And Betty signaled sausage inside this duty-free bag.
We got it from duty free at the airport. Yeah, it's not permitted.
The beagles are trained to sniff out pork, other meats, and fruit, but they constantly find more exotic foods too.
And this looks like cow skin.
It is. Also confiscated, this entire leg of a wild animal with hoof still attached. And CBP still doesn't know what this meat is.
Whenever we see bones like that, that's a good indicator that it's not allowed.
Every year, tens of thousands of threats are snagged by CBP's canines, including a brigade of beagles, like Betty.
Oh, I love her.
That protect America's front lines.
You did good now.
For Spotlight on America,
Good job, Mama.
I'm Dwayne Pullman.
And that'll do it for this special Spotlight on America. If you have a tip or idea you'd like us to investigate, we want to hear from you. Just go to spotlightinvestigates.com and click on Contact Us, or you can send us an email to spotlight@sbgtv.com. And for more Spotlight content you haven't seen, follow us on YouTube, search Spotlight on America, and hit the subscribe button. Many thanks to you for watching. Until next time, I'm Angie Moreski for Spotlight on America.